Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today we have in Spill the Sea a Pokemon TCG international player, top 8 in the last World Championship and in Baltimore Regional that happened last Saturday. Today we are with Ian Robb. Hello, Ian. We are very happy
Hello.
having you today in this episode. I'm very enthusiastic that you can share with us some talking about Pokemon.
Yes, of course. It's our all our favorite game, right?
Yeah, okay. So we have 11 questions that our followers asked, and so let's go ahead. Let's start talking about you. How did you start in TCG?
So, originally it's actually technically Magic the Gathering is why. I never liked Magic the Gathering more, but that was why. So in 2007, for Christmas, my dad wanted me to start getting into Magic the Gathering, but he wanted me to learn a easier game. So I got two starter decks for Pokemon, and maybe accidentally I got more into Pokemon. So that's how I got into it. It was originally in 2007.
Oh, okay. So you started with Magic the Gathering, and then no.
I was originally, my dad wanted me to learn Magic.
Okay.
He wanted me to learn, so he's like, "Oh, I'll give him this easier game that it's for kids, so he'll be able to learn that." And then, maybe accidentally, I started to play Pokemon instead, and Magic never really caught on.
Yeah, Magic is a little bit difficult, I think. Oh?
Yes, it's a very difficult game. It's a lot different in Pokemon for sure. A lot different.
Okay, I see. And so, how is that started in Pokemon?
So after I started around 2010 was my first Pokemon National Championship where I started 4-4, so I didn't do so well for a while. But 2011 I was able to compete in my first Worlds through the last chance qualifier where I had to win like 4 rounds in a row the day before the actual event to qualify, and I was able to do that. And then ever since then I've been able to qualify for Worlds every year and been able to compete at the top most of that time.
Okay, I see. What about talking about your teammates? Some follower asked about your team, and it's TSS. So how is it be a part of that team?
It's awesome. So the Shuffle Squad has been my sponsor since around January. It's a group of people who, we're all trying to grow the game, trying to grow our team, put more information out there for people to learn more about this game that we all love. It's just been great, everything about it. And also we have been working with GameStop, so that's been really exciting as of late.
Okay, how did you started with them?
So I started was originally, I think I was trying to find a team around December, and that's when I was in contact with them, and then around January I decided to make that a thing. So even though I've been on it for a little bit now, it still feels kind of new for me because it was my first ever team in Pokemon.
Okay. So what about your personal life? How did you balance your personal life and being a competitive TCG player?
So for me, it's been very difficult on my life. So I think it's luck. Maybe it's a good thing, I guess, kind of one way that I got really into it more in middle school and high school time. So I had a lot of extra free time for playing it, but I've been in college the past 4 years, and the way I did it really was just make sure that I prepped hard for the event, at least some point, and then focus more on the ICs and Worlds. Is definitely all right, get there early, focus. But mainly how I do is just make sure I don't get burnt out, because being able to balance life in Pokemon can be really hard, and doing some of too much Pokemon, too much other stuff can be really hard, is what I've learned. And at least for myself, that's sometimes needing to take Pokemon breaks after a lot of practice, especially something like Worlds where the whole month before I was just playing Pokemon every day, trying to learn the ins and outs of one deck. So definitely after Worlds, all right, I need a break from playing Regidrago V-Star every single day. So I really think it's really just making sure also that you're having fun, because I found for myself that when I'm not having fun with the game for whatever reason, that it's just, it's not as fun. It could be deck, it could be I'm not enjoying the format. I do a lot of things, but always having fun with Pokemon too is a big part. How to not get bored and be able to balance both.
Okay. So do you think you could continue playing Pokemon a long term from now?
I think forever. It'll always be part of my life. A joke I have with a lot of my friends is that you never actually quit Pokemon. You may not go to as many events as you used to, but you never actually quit Pokemon. Like, at least for myself, how I see it is I'm probably going to be playing near the top for maybe a couple more years at the most, but after that, you know, I can definitely see it'll be in the back. I always do it, though. I love it too much. I've been playing for way too long that I can't ever quit. The Pokemon bug will always be back.
Okay. So other question that we have is about Honolulu. How did you prepare for Worlds, and why did you choose Regidrago?
So the way I prepared for this event was, I guess, a little special because I had 2 months for it, which most events you don't really have that much time with a set, a format, maybe only a couple weeks or even just 1 week sometimes. So really my goal was around like beginning of July, I decided that I was playing Regidrago V-Star. I didn't actually believe that myself. I knew that. I didn't actually lock it in, but I knew I was playing it. So a lot of the practice after that was really just trying to learn how to play all the matchups and just have a very strong feeling about like, oh, if I'm in this situation, I know what to do. It's really just about learning the ins and outs and mastering Regidrago. Because for most events, I'm usually I can know the deck like 90%, but the extra 10 is, there isn't enough time really to learn it for anyone really, like getting that deck fully perfected. So I feel like I was like pretty close to perfecting knowing how to play my deck by Worlds.
Okay. Which was your harder play or your harder match in Honolulu with Regidrago?
My harder match, I remember the one that I had on top of my head. I think the hardest one I had was around 11, so I had to win my last 2 to make cut, and I faced a mirror match. I remember that I lost game 1, I was not feeling good, but I had to, you know, claw my way back game 2. Actually, I didn't really claw my way back, I had a pretty easy one because my opponent allowed me to use Trifrost twice, but I remember like that feeling that like I had to win the last 2 games. I remember game 3 where I attacked a Squawk turn 1, my opponent didn't have the response to like KO me, and I had to like sit there and try to figure out like how do I perfect his play, like how do I figure out the best play. In that situation, it was actually attack with a Regidrago V and not evolve it, which was very funny, but it was a very weird situation where I put a Squawk ability on 150 damage, so it was the correct play because I discarded like all my V-Stars already. So I think definitely it was round 11 in the mirror, because the Regidrago V-Star mirror is one of the scariest ones. If it's not that, it was actually also, I remember, against Miraidon EX was my match to make day 2. In game 3, I remember sitting there, my opponent putting down those electric generators, and when I saw only 1 lightning was found off 2 on their second turn, I was the happiest man alive. Electric generator is a scary, scary card.
Yeah, I think that the match with Miraidon is very scary because it could attack you in the first turn if they start second, no?
Yeah, Miraidon is just very, very scary. Like, they get second, get the turn 1 attack. It's so hard to come back sometimes. Luckily, their deck usually doesn't play something like a Raichu V, knock out your Regidrago V-Star 1 attack, so you at least have some options, but it's still really, really, really scary if they get that good draw.
Okay, let's move forward. Knowing that Bolt and Miraidon could be a meta call in Baltimore, why do you repeat the same deck and recipe from it?
For Worlds? So, the main reason why I did it was I felt the deck I knew the best. I didn't think it was actually the best deck to play for the tournament, but I just knew it so well that I felt that, you know, maybe if they had some couple changes, add a card like Cleffa, which can help out against these like Raging Bolt, these Miraidons, add a Jamming Tower for them, and the Ancient Box, that I would be all set. Also, on top of that, I think Regidrago V-Star is one of the decks with just, there's a lot of options you have, and there's just so many cool plays that you can make that it's a deck where also I was like, I had fun playing it too, so I really just wanted to keep playing deck. I had fun. Sometimes the games got boring because you know you're gonna win, but the games take like 3 extra turns with Regidrago, I've noticed, but usually it's pretty fun trying to figure out cool plays that you can do.
Okay. And then we have many doubts about this question in the community. After Baltimore, do you think it will be a good idea to prepare for control decks, like having one canceling column?
Yes, for sure. So before that event itself, I really wasn't expecting there to be much control for Baltimore, because I assume most people, you can't really beat these Regidrago decks to play Canceling Clone, and I'm assuming majority of people played it for Baltimore, but not near the top tables. And I faced 3 control decks at Baltimore, but I beat all 3. So I'm saying you should have it, but you can beat it without it. But usually you need some luck or just something weird to happen. So yeah, I would play Canceling Clone for sure in my deck. I probably would not play probably Jamming Tower anymore. I would be playing Canceling Clone. Because control gets so much easier to play if you can just turn off any of the... I don't care if it's Snorlax, Mimikyu, Cornerstone, any of those. Just give me... turn it off 1 or 2 times and you should win.
Okay, talking about changes in Pokemon, we are just a few days from starting Stellar Crown meta. So how do you think Metagame will change with the new cards?
So, I think that the biggest thing is the new stadium. It's Area 0. There we go, Area 0, yep. I love the cards. I'm trying to make sure I remember the names of the Japanese names, so I think I got it. So I think Area 0 and Noctowl are the best 2 cards in the set. Being able to bench 8 Pokemon is really good when cards like Pheasantipede and Mew exist, because you have, your regular Pokemon on your bench, and then you just get the extra Mew and Fez, which really just allows you to draw so many cards, even if your opponent gets an Iono off. And along with that, Noctowl creates a lot of cool plays where you can, do rare candy plays. It works really well with Dusknoir. I've been playing with Dusknoir, and you can go with the turtle. Can't remember his name right now. The colorless turtle. The turtle EX. Yeah. Trapagos. There we go. Trapagos. You can just go Trapagos, Noctowl for rare candy, get a Dusknoir out, knock out one of their Pokemon, knock out another with Nice Stretcher, rare candy. So I think those 2 cards are really, really, really good.
Okay, we know that the meta could be changed soon, or could be not. So, which deck will you consider for Stellar Crown meta? Charizard will be the Barifa game or not?
I think Charizard is going to be definitely one of the best decks, because the biggest change to me is really just the interaction Dusknoir and Briar is really good, because it allows you to decide when your opponent's at 2 prizes, and sometimes you want to put them on the 1, but usually when you get them on the 2, then you can Briar, take 3 prizes. You can take these 4 5 turn or prize knockouts in 1 turn. So I really think that Charizard is going to be definitely one of the best. Along with that, I think Raging Bolt is very good, because Briar also works in there, because it allows you to, these faster decks, not even fastest, these 1 prize decks like Charizard now, you're able to get extra, 2 or 3 prizes on that final turn. And before, we can only take 1 prize on a turn, sometimes it's really hard to win. So I think that Briar and Raging Bolt is definitely one of the biggest things. And I think some sort of this straight Dusknoir deck is going to be really, really good. I don't know what it is going to be yet, but I think it's going to be one of the best decks for sure, is some kind of Dusknoir deck that does something with your Noctowl or the Area 0. And also Dragapult's a little...
Yeah, okay, Dragapult is one that is making it harder to beat with the Stellar Crown. What are you testing with the Stellar Crown?
So what I've been trying so far is a lot of these Dusknoir decks. As you can hear, I've talked a lot about Dusknoir. I've been mostly doing that. I put a little bit of Trapagos early on. I didn't like it too much, the builds I was trying out. I think I'm going to go back to it more, because I wasn't fully convinced yet that they're that bad. But my first impression was not very good with that. I was trying mainly with Palkia for a while. It didn't work too well, but I thought it was pretty cool. You can play Palkia, do a lot of damage, and also you get these Radiant Greninja, Irida, all these really good cards. I've also played Charizard a little bit, and I think Charizard's really, really, really good, because it's just Dusknoir plus Charizard is just one of the best choices you have right now.
Yeah, that's right. Do you have any goals for this season? Win a regional, maybe? Be in the top 5?
Goal? So, my goal for this season is really just... I want to do well in IC, I think is my biggest thing. After NEIC 2023, where I got 2nd, I really want to have another chance at an IC. So that's the biggest thing for me, is hopefully win. I think I get a little lucky. So I'm going to set a goal at least top 8 in IC. That's going to be my main goal. I'd like to win a regional, but it's, there's just a lot of luck you need after. You may top cut, but after that, anything can happen, I've learned. With a lot of these, even just the matchups are just so random. You could face, be first seed at regional, and all of a sudden you hit your worst matchup, and then it just goes so bad. So my goal is just get at least an IC top 8. I'll be happy with that.
What are your traveling plans for this season?
Am I traveling? So
Yes.
my plan is to go to all the ICs. So like I'll be at LAIC, EUIC, NEIC. And I plan on going to at least mostly US regionals. I'm not sure how much time I have. I may go to a LATAM regional if I have the time. I'm not fully sure yet. I might go to an EU one. It's really gonna end up depending on like if I have time in like January, February, which not sure yet if I'm going to. I'd like to go to one though. I really wanted to go to an international regional. I still have not been to any, only US. I guess Canada technically counts, but that's so close.
That's so close, yeah. Do you have any recommendations for improving the game?
Sure, yeah. So my biggest thing is really just make sure that you think through a lot of your play, especially on these, like I call the impact turns or the crucial or key turns, where like you can kind of tell some games where like this is going to decide the game. I need to make sure I make the best play. Always make sure that you are thinking it through correctly and you're able to figure them out. I think that's really the next, like one of the best things you can do to, like, let's say like if you figure out like that, you know, the hard turn, you always get it right. It will always lead to maybe one extra game win at a regional, an extra match win at a regional, and that can add up over time. I think that's a very simple improvement of that. Even like for myself, I've been trying to do more and more, and it's definitely helped me where I just like calm down, like feel right. All right, how do I handle this turn? Funny example of this actually was my top cut at Baltimore, where I was against a Pidgeot control deck, and I had to try to figure out what I was doing, and I was like thinking through all my choices. I had to go to this weird choice where I like V-Star for like a Prime Catcher and Iono. And then like went like Iono and attack with my Regidrago V into a Cornerstone Ogre Pond, removing all my energy from my V-Star. So it's just things like that. Like be open to a lot of ideas. Make sure like that, like you can kind of tell like those turns, like the key turn that you do the best to your ability.
Yeah. What about you choosing the ideal deck? What can you tell us?
Sure. So I think that what I've learned is that my opinion about this really is there is no like perfect deck. It's really the one, what's the one you know the best? You should probably play that, except when there's a huge different gap between being the best deck and your deck. An example of this is Lugia V-Star. When it first came out, I felt Lugia was like, you had to play Lugia, you had to play something like really beat Lugia. So like if your deck didn't really beat Lugia, I would like recommend playing it. But like right now, you don't have to play Regidrago. If you like Ancient Box, I think you should play Ancient Box. If you want to play Raging Bolt, I think you should play Raging Bolt. It's really just make sure it's a deck that you have fun with and the most experience. You'll never do well with a deck that you do not enjoy playing. Something like that's, I have like once or twice. I did well with Rhydon this season. I don't really like Rhydon, but usually it doesn't work out. I can tell you that. Usually it doesn't work out when you don't like your deck.
Okay. For finish, could you send greetings, maybe in Spanish if you know something?
Unfortunately, I don't. No.
But or maybe a final message for our viewers.
Yeah. You know, thank you so much for having me on. You know, if you want to ever check out my stuff on X, I'm Ian__Robb. And if you ever want to check out my classes, anything else I do, I post a lot on Metafy. So I believe it's just metafy.com/Ian Robb. You can check me out there. But yeah, I'm so glad I was able to be on today.
Okay, so that's all with Ian Robb. Thank you for having you today, and we can take you sometime later. Okay, bye-bye.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Bye.